I just want to go ahead and say, right off the bat, if you notice the cough drops and the tea, I am a little sick. So like I told the folks that were here last night, if I sing a note that does not sound right, just ignore it. Act like it never happened. We'll, get kind of awkward if you come up to me and go, that note was... Because I know, believe me. Every time my voice does its own thing, I start sweating, so I might just melt here before it's over. So please know that I am struggling a little bit, but that's not going to keep me from sharing what I know about my God with you guys. And when Dan was praying earlier, I was praying, and I always pray that I say the right things and do the right things that glorify God. And it popped into my head that He would not bring me all the way down here, 10 hours from home, if there wasn't somebody here today that needed to hear what I had to say. So, if that is you, please, I hope it's what you need when you need it, all right? So my name is Tonja Rose. I live outside of Nashville with my husband, Charles, Ward, Charlie, Edward, whatever you want to call him. He has 14 different names. When he's in trouble, it's definitely Ward. So if you holler Ward, he'll go, what? So, but we are here to share the love of God and what He's done in our lives and the awesomeness of His timing and what He does. What some of you didn't know last night, because I didn't go into it, is that I had a career in country music for several years. I got to see my name on the Billboard charts. I had the tour bus, did all that, did the radio, all that stuff that you want to do when you are a country singer. Woo! And that all fell apart after about 2 years. Didn't understand why. Couldn't figure it out. I was doing all the right things, saying all the right things, and it just fell apart. And I didn't understand why. So after that happened, I wrote this song that I'm getting ready to sing, and it just talks about that. Not understanding why things happen the way they happen. Excuse me. Why God chooses particular times to let things fall apart. He doesn't make them fall apart, but He allows them to happen. And that song kind of came from that experience. But then in 2016, my husband had a stroke at 45 years old. And this song took on a completely different, what's the word I'm looking for? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It took on a completely different form for me because when my husband had his stroke, I had decided, I'm done in music. I was doing some Christian music with a group called Crosby Lane that has actually been here. And I stepped away from that and I said, I'm done, God. I've done these things that you wanted me to do, but my place now is at home with my family. I'm done. And God said, no, not yet. Just wait and see the wonderful things I have ahead for you. In your life, in your situation, you may not understand what you're going through, but always know that God does. He does. I don't always think I'm beautiful. I don't always see things logical. I don't forgive myself for things I've done, but He does. I don't always know just who I am. Oh, and there's things that I don't understand. Can I only see a way out of the best I can? Oh, but He does. He knows every move I make, every step that I can't take. He knows don't know how to leave it in past. Oh, but he does. He knows every move I make, every step that I can take. Knows the fear that taunts my soul when I'm losing all control. I don't have the answers to every little thing. It'll be okay. I'll be okay. 'Cause he knows every move I make, every step that I can take. Knows the fear that taunts my soul when I'm losing all control. I don't have the answers to every little thing. It'll be okay. I'll be okay. Oh, 'cause he does. I pray that I'll be more like him. I pray that I'll learn to forgive like he does. I pray his wind will find myself. I pray that I can see myself like he does. Pray when I don't understand, I can leave it in his hands and walk away. When I can't seem to let myself, pray that I can let myself like he does. Like he does. Oh, like he does. Thank you. I wanted to share one of the songs that I put on my country album that I had out. Just because this song means a lot to me. It just talks about probably one of the most important things that you have in your body, and that is your heart. Heart is the center of everything you are, physically, medically, emotionally. And this song just talks about how you should give that to others and not hold back. It's called Hearts Are Made to Give Away. You can break things to the core, shake them and fill them up with fire. You can guard them, watch them harden with your dreams locked inside. Do what you will, but at the end of the day, hearts are made to give away. Some protecting, neglecting. Hey, they're amazing to this. Some deny them and try to hide them and keep them off their streets. You can hold them to yourself, but at the end of the day, oh, hearts are made to give away. Down, the more you live, you learn. It's not about we give in return. We can show them, others know it. Get to know theirs too. Can reveal them, let love heal them, and make them good as new. Show them someday give them away. So let me just take a couple of minutes. Dan said I had like 3 hours. But I don't have that in me today. So y'all got out lucky. I'm only going to take a few minutes. Maybe next time, Dan. 3 or 4 hours. I just wanted to take a couple minutes and share with you. I shared some other things last night. Tonight I'm going to share something a little different. The way God has moved in my husband and my life over the last 16, 17, 18, 19, 3 years since he had a stroke. And I talked about being in the music business and being in Crosby Lane and leaving that and being done with it, and God saying, no, not quite yet. And then that kind of left us going, well, what now? What do we do now? And so I continued to write songs, and these songs turned into things that I never could have imagined. The first song off the album that I released is called When the Mountain Can't Be Moved, and it had such a great response that we found ourselves scrambling to put a whole album around it. Because we only had one song. And people were starting to say, well, where's your album? When's the next song going to be out? We didn't have one, so we had to scramble and write. So the song that I'm going to sing next is the very last song that we wrote for the album. And I want to take a minute to introduce you to somebody who is not here today. Where is he? This is John Williams, y'all. John Williams lives in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. This is John's song. We didn't know it when we wrote it, but like God and the way He works, God knew that this was John's song. Like I said, in 2018, we were trying to finish up songs, and this was the last one that we wrote. And I wrote this song with Erin Johnston, who's one of my dearest friends in Tennessee. And this is actually her uncle. And when we wrote the song, his family did not even know if he was alive. They hadn't seen him in years. He was addicted to alcohol. He was addicted to gambling. He was addicted to some type of substance. I didn't feel comfortable enough asking him. It wasn't any of my business. I just knew that he was addicted to something. But that addiction, those addictions had taken him all the way to the bottom. And that fueled more gambling, more drinking. And it led him to a life of always looking behind him. Always looking to see if his past was following him. To see if it was sneaking up on him. And honestly, he'll tell you, if he was here, he'd tell you right now that he had a very hopeless future. He was living in the streets. He was eating out of dumpsters. He actually told us that's in not Broken Arrow, but one of the other Oklahoma towns. Cece's Pizza would close at 11 o'clock at night, and they would take all of their extra pizza and they'd throw it in the dumpsters. And so they would climb the dumpsters and get the pizza. And that would be their meals. And he was doing, he didn't go into detail, and again, I didn't ask, but he said he was doing whatever he needed to do to survive, to live. So about the time that the album was released, he had actually reached out to one of his sisters and said, I can't do this anymore, I need help. Now, he had help before. If you know somebody that has addictions, you can ask for help a lot. And it's very easily to fall back into the way you were before you got your help. So they kind of knew this, going to get him off the streets. But his sister took him to a mission, to a place in Oklahoma called John 3:16 Mission. And it's a year-long program with kind of a work-based program that goes along with it. John was the only one that graduated after a year. Out of, I think he said, 40-some men, John's the only one that graduated. Because when John went into this mission, he was ready. He was ready to find something other than what he had. He was, when he was there, he found someone who could break the pattern of addiction that he was in. Y'all, we were not writing this song for John, but God was using us to write this song for John. And that's kind of how God works, you know. You don't know today what God's got in plans 6 months from now. But then when it happens, we're so totally amazed. We're amazed that God used us to do that. And that's just, when are we ever going to learn that that's God? That's what God does. We have this video. Sorry, I didn't look at my notes because I am blind. We have this video coming out at the end of the month. 2 weeks. John was gracious enough to fly in from Broken Arrow and be in the video. And y'all, we asked him to do a lot of things that we felt uncomfortable asking him to do, but we wanted it to be real. We wanted people to see the struggle that people deal with on a daily basis. Now, your issue may not be, you know, addicted to drugs and alcohol, and you may not be homeless, but you may be dealing with something else. You know, you may be dealing with a broken marriage. You may be dealing with somebody who you've known your whole life just up and leaving. You may have issues with your parents. You may have issues with your children. We all have issues. But he turned to Jesus. John 3:16, the mission, John 3:16, they didn't save him. God saved him through mission, John 3:16 mission. So I say all this to say God can do anything, y'all. Anything. He brought me and my husband to where we are right now after I said I'm done doing music. Oh my goodness, here I am doing music. Very hoarsely, I might add. Forgive me for that. He brought John from a life of despair, out of the streets of Broken Arrow, eating out of dumpsters. This man leads worship every day at the John 3:16 mission from 4:30 to 5:15. He leads worship every day. He preaches. He tells everybody what God has done for him in his life. And that's what I want to do. And I don't do it very well. I'm not polished. I'm just a little old gal from North Carolina who says the wrong thing sometimes, puts her foot in her mouth, and my husband rolls his eyes, and I just try to work my way out of it the best I can. But I know that God has put us right here for a reason, and we had to walk through my husband's stroke to do it. So just know that God loves you. He can pull you through anything. You pull my book over here. And you don't have to be that person you are. You never have to be that person you are. That's what this song is about.
Spend my life just getting by, moving forward but looking behind, convinced my
awesome. We'll talk about your work later. No, he's awesome, y'all. I mean, the man had a stroke. What more could I ask for? You know, I think he's doing great. Everybody all at one time turn around and look at him and say, "Hey, Ward."
Hey, Ward.
He's going to get me for that. And I don't even care. So before I do this last song, I just want to share just a little bit more with you. I'm not going to take long, I promise. Our pastor at our church, we go to a little teeny church in Columbia, Tennessee called City Place Church. And there may be 75 people, maybe, on a good Sunday. But our pastor said that there are three types of people, three types of Christians. Well, three types of people in the world. There are the unfound, the unformed, and the unsent. Now, John, at one point in his life, well, all of us at one point in our lives would have been the unfound. No hope, no future. But someone came along who took us out of that, helped us, showed us God, showed us His love, showed us what it's all about. Then there's the unformed, and that is, you know you need God, you've taken that step, you've come down to the altar, you've done what you need to do, you've asked for forgiveness, but now what? What do I do now? So the unformed people, what you need to do is you need to find your group. You need to find your people. You need to find people that will pray with you, pray for you, read the Bible with you, teach you about God's love and what to do next in this walk. Then there's the unsent, the people that know what their calling is, know what God created them to do, and they're just waiting for the opportunity to go do that. That's kind of where I was at. I've been a Christian my whole life, y'all. I mean, my mom and daddy had me at church every time the doors were open. I mean, teenager, I rolled my eyes so many times I can't believe they're not even locked back in my head because they wanted to go to church all the time. But I grew up in that, and I grew up knowing about God and loving the Lord, and I knew that singing was something that He was going to use me for. But I didn't know it to what capacity, and I spent years and years and years just singing, going through the motions, talking the talk, walking the walk, thinking that I was doing what I was supposed to do. And then when my husband got sick, that all kind of changed, and I realized, I was out there doing that stuff, but now I really need to be out there doing that stuff. I really need to be out there sharing the love of God with others. I want to see everybody that I ever meet in heaven one day. So after I learned that, I figured out that not only are there three categories, there's four categories. There's the unfound, the unformed, the unsent, and now I'm the sent. This is what God has me out there doing. And you know what? You don't have to climb in a car and drive 10 hours somewhere to share God's love. That's just what He's laid on my heart. He's laid on my heart to sing and share my story. And like I said earlier, I'm not that great at it. I'm still learning. I'm not a speaker by any means. I probably say things wrong all the time. But regardless of where you are in your walk with Jesus, whether you are unfound, unformed, unsent, or sent, please know that you are loved. God loves you. You're His kids. He hates to see you hurt. He hates to see you upset. And just know that find your purpose. Find people around you that can help you find your purpose. Even if it's just helping out children's church every Sunday. That's a purpose, y'all. That's a purpose. Yeah. You pay later. It doesn't have to be anything great. It just needs to be with the right heart and the right love for God. So if you're in any of these walks, we're going to do this last song. I'm going to have you stand with me, and we're going to sing this last song. And if you need someone to talk to or pray with, I know Dan's got people that can talk to you and pray with you. So thank you guys so much for having me. We're going to do this last song, and then